Thank you for that great prayer and for the great reading. I was laughing because David's been with us like half of the year as a practitioner on the pulpit with me each month, one Wednesday night a month, and he's going to be doing some traveling next year, and so his time is going to be kind of shared between Seaside and his travels and his studies, and so he has Denise kind of shadowing him tonight, which I know she welcomed many of you. And I was just telling her about the readings and how I like the readings because I kind of go, hey, pick a reading, and I know that it's going to be perfect. I know that it's going to be perfect. And as he was reading the reading, my reading that I have from the Science of Mind book is just like right there, boom. So I'm laughing because my talk title, what is my talk title tonight, right? Stay awake. Go figure. Stay awake. So my talk title tonight has a lot to do with us really being awake, alert, and aware to this divine presence that is God, this perfection, this divine unfoldment, and that when we fall asleep to this idea that everything is in divine order, we believe and we start to think that there is some otherness that's going to happen and that somehow or another it's going to get derailed. Or that somehow or another the outpicturing of it is going to be funky or it's not going to be correct. And so I love that I was simply living and being in the moment with Denise as I was saying, whatever the reading is, whether you try to align it with my talk title or not, I know that it's always divine. I know that it's always a ministry unto itself. Because either I believe that everything is in divine order already and that everything is already going to outpicture and fall into place in such a grand and glorious way, or I don't. Either I believe that God is all, or I don't. There's not this place where you can just be a little bit pregnant. There's not this place where you can just kind of like hang out in the middle someplace. Either we believe it and our actions prove it and we show it and we live by that, or we don't. And there is, though, that place where we are coming to believe, where we come to believe. You know, I've been around 12-step program and 12-step, for coming up on 27 years now. And one of the steps in this spiritual program that reminds me so much of Science of Mind is that step 2 talks about came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. But this whole idea of came to believe, we come to believe. There's this place where we hear things, we learn things, we acculturate, we learn the new culture. We may have come to Science of Mind philosophy because we've grown up in it, but some of us may have come from various backgrounds and various traditions or other religions. And as we come to this new thought community, and we begin to hear that God is all there is, and that God is all that there will ever be, and that there is really no beginning and no end, that there's just this eternality, and that God is living in, through, and as each and every one of us, and that God has created everything out of itself through some act of involution, we kind of go, yeah, that kind of feels right, but that's not what I was taught. And we begin to learn this new culture. We begin to learn this new way of life. We begin to really take on this way of thinking and this way of living to such a degree that we come to believe. A lot of times we break it down and we go, we come, here we are, we gather. And then we come to. Because, we've kind of been knocked unconscious out there trying to roll around, right? So we finally come to, and then we come to believe. We come to believe that this power, that this presence, that this life is our very life, that it is having its way in, through, and as us. And as we begin to really move from this place of, okay, this is what I'm learning, and I'm beginning to walk, and I'm beginning to talk the talk, and sometimes my talk doesn't match my walk. You know that place. You know, it's that learning process. It's that process of coming to believe. It's that process of awakening. That process of, you know, the alarm kind of rings and we're kind of in that groggy state like, Mommy, I don't want to go to school today, you know? And then we realize we have to get to work. And we got to wait. But in that stage, it's kind of like that in-between stage of awakening. That's kind of like where our talk doesn't match our walk, and our walk doesn't match our talk yet. That's where we're coming to believe that what we're learning and what we're seeing and what we're experiencing when we come to New Thought Community, that this is indeed the truth of who and what we are. And as we begin to really see the outpicturing of our life, as we begin to see what is coming forth, that is our life, we begin to really look and see whether it matches up. Meaning, is this what I've manifested? Is this really what I want? Is this really what I'm thinking? Is this really what I'm believing? And so when things like this happen, to where I get to laugh because David is reading something that's so in alignment with what I'm going to read, I laugh because I go, see, my belief is right on point. I just trust that which is already unfolding, that which is already ordained, that this is the life of God. This service is the life of God. Your life is the life of God. All of it is the life of God. Therefore, to the degree in which we recognize that and know that our life is the life of God, and that we know that which is true of God is true of us, and we rely upon that and we stay awake to that. We don't fall asleep to that, but we stay awake with that we stay in tune to it, that we're very cognizant and conscious that my life is the life of God, and that everything is unfolding not just only for my highest good, but for the highest good of everyone around, for all of us. Because God is expressing in, through, and as each and every one of us. And we get to stay awake to that. You see, because what happens when we fall asleep is we begin to believe in some otherness. We begin to, this is not even a word, but we begin to de-godify one another. I was trying to say like dehumanize, right? But we de-godify one another when we fall asleep, when we're not awake to the truth of who we really are. All of a sudden, you're less than God, you're less than God. You can't be God. Oh, obviously, the way you're acting, girlfriend, you cannot be God. Really? I mean, have you seen how you've been behaving lately? You know, like all of a sudden, we begin to think that it's possible that there's this otherness, when in fact we know that there's one power, one presence, one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life right now. And we get to stay awake to that. And it is to that we come to spiritual community, to be reminded of that each and every time. It is to this inexhaustible life that we are reminded that over and over again, the givingness, the divine givingness that is God continues to give more and more and more. And to the degree in which we accept that this is our truth, it is to that degree in which we get to live a life of freedom. Because Ernest Holmes talks about it in What We Believe. What he says, and I'm paraphrasing, is that We believe that we can achieve freedom from all discord. I'm going to say that again and then take a drink of water. We believe that we can achieve freedom from all discord. What does that mean to you? What it means to me is that when I fall asleep, when I am in a state of unawareness, when I forget who and what I am, I experience discord. I experience lack, limitation, suffering, hatred. Things just don't go my way. There's no joy, no harmony, no peace, no clarity. Discord. If Jim was still up here, I would have him play Discord on the piano so you can get the musicality of it all. It's a wreck. It really is. It's nothing as harmonious or as beautiful as what they have already played for us. It's almost like, please stop. Discord. That the purpose for us to come together in spiritual community is so that we can remain awake, that we might achieve freedom from all discord, that we might remember the truth of who we are, that we might live from that place in every moment. See, because I know what it's like to live from that place when it's good. You know what I mean, Sonny? You know, when life is good, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm at the beach, life is good, or I'm driving a nice car, life is good. Oh, yes, freedom from all discord. Everything is going nice and smoothly, life is good. Oh, yes, the life of God is my life right now, and I can spew it all. But the minute there might be a little hump in the road or a little bump, ooh, I don't know. Is God all there is? Y'all are laughing because y'all know. It's what y'all be thinking, huh? This can't be working. This affirmation stuff doesn't work. Reverend Sunshine be lying to us every week, and I still keep going back. Right? Sometimes we have those challenges. You know, and we go, gosh, how come it's not working? Like, what's up? You know, what's going on? And it's simply that either we have fallen asleep or that we're getting a gift. Either we have fallen asleep or we're getting a gift. That bump in the road, that discord for a moment is a momentary gift because it is an outpicturing, and an outpicturing is simply a reflection of what it is that we're thinking and believing. So I call it a gift because when I go, ooh, that's ugly, that's not what I ordered, that's not what I want, the gift is, hey, check out what's in your consciousness, sweetie pie. Because obviously, this is what you ordered because this is what you're getting. And if I'm honest with myself and gentle with myself, I can go, ooh, it's not really what I want. So let me check out where this stuff is living within me. Let me uncover this hidden belief. That's the work that you get to do with practitioners, should you choose that assignment. Working with a practitioner just does just that. They're able, through a series of questions that they ask you, they're able to determine and able to just kind of show you what it is that you're thinking and believing and why it is you keep getting what you're getting. Because somewhere within us, through no fault of our own or our parents, we have come to believe something that is less than the absolute truth of who we are. Somehow or another, somebody might have said to us when we were young, "Who do you think you are?" Or, "Money don't grow on trees." Or, "You can't have that." Or, "You'll never accomplish much." Or, "Wow, you're really intelligent," but they say it so sarcastically that they know that they're not paying you a compliment. And somehow or another, we take that and we think it over and over and over again. We internalize it, and it becomes this kind of hidden belief and hidden thought that we have. And unbeknownst to us, we're tiptoeing through the tulips, thinking life is grand, and all of a sudden this whatever occurs, and we think we didn't manifest it. But indeed we did, because it's coming from this hidden thought, this hidden belief within us. And the work that we get to do with our practitioners, or the work that we get to do through our meditation, through our affirmations, through our contemplation, through our studies, and through our education and our classes, and working with practitioners especially, is we get to uncover and peel back the layers and recognize and shine the light on this hidden belief that has been acting as a law onto your life and that continues to outpicture this thing over and over and over again that you don't even want. It's kind of like fellas getting that perpetual tie for Christmas or the fruit cake. You know, there's this belief that fruitcakes, nobody ever makes a fruitcake, that they just kind of keep regifting the fruitcake from last year because nobody really eats it. Who knows? Anyway, I digress, right? So if it's outpicturing, if it's happening in our life, it's simply because somewhere within us, we believe that that's what we deserve. We believe that that's our worth. We believe that that's all we could have. And because we believe that that's all that we can have, then that's all that we continue to get. So, here's what Ernest Holmes has to say about this. He says, God is love, and God is law. David said that. God is love and God is law. The love of God is omnipresent, everywhere present, everywhere present. The love of God is omnipresent, and the law of God is omnipresent. So the love and the law of God is everywhere present, period. This is how the kids say it at camp. This is how the kids learn it at camp. There is no spot where God is not. Period. They just translated that for us to teen language, right? The love of God is the divine givingness. The love of God is the divine givingness. The love of God is always giving, always giving. That's just the nature of God. It's just this divine giving. Life is constantly giving of itself, always just giving. The eternal outpouring of spirit through its creation. So life is always giving of itself through its creation, whether it's the trees that give us oxygen and take our carbon monoxide, right? I was going to say, God, we got carbon dioxide. They take our carbon monoxide and constantly give us oxygen, that we might take in the oxygen, that we might continue to live our life as the life of God in this human body. The world continues to just provide water for us, air. We continue to just have love and more love. Creation just constantly gives us beauty. beautiful mountains and snow and just all the ways that water transmutes and transforms itself to bless us and continue to allow us to live this beautiful, wonderful life. That is the divine givingness of God. It continues to outpour itself through its creation. The law of God is the law of cause and effect, which says that we can have only what we take. We can have only what we take. What are you taking? What do you have? What will you have? If you stay awake to this truth, if you stay awake that you can have it all, that it is already given to you, then what will you have? And why do you continue to settle for less? That's a question I ask myself. When there's an outpicturing that I don't really like, or that I'm just kind of going, ooh, this kind of really falls short of what I had in mind, I ask myself, what is causing me to settle for less? And inevitably, it is a hidden belief that I have that says, you only deserve this much. But here, what I'm learning and what I'm sharing with you is that we can have it all. It's here for the taking. How much will you take? Either you're going to come with an empty tractor trailer or, an 18-wheeler to get filled up, or you're going to come with a little thimble and say, fill her up, please. How much will you take? The law of cause and effect, the divine givingness of God, the love and the law that is God, that is ever present, everywhere present, says that, hey, I'm constantly giving. How much will you take? It is yours. It is who and what you are. What experiences will you have? Since this taking is of a mental and spiritual as well as physical act, we can take only that to which we are receptive. We can only take that to which we are receptive. So we get an opportunity to just kind of check it out. Am I receptive to a little? Am I receptive to a lot? What are my thoughts and ideas? And are they really my thoughts or ideas? Or is this something that I picked up along the way through the media, through maybe my parents or grandparents, maybe some antiquated thought? What is it that I'm settling for? That I really go, wow, I really want that, but I'll settle for this over here. And every time it shows up, it's kind of like, I don't really want this. I want that. So what thoughts prevent us from getting there? If we're constantly falling asleep and staying unconscious to what's happening within us, we'll never get from here to there. We'll never have that experience. If we constantly say, oh, I'm too busy, or it's time to go to work, or I don't have time for all that prayer and meditation, I don't have time to meet with a practitioner, I don't have time to really sit and be in the silence and ask the question so that I might get the answer, so that I might uncover this hidden thought and belief and really release it into the nothingness from which it came. If I'm not willing to really look, then I'm going to, by virtue of my actions, continue to settle for less. So as we stay awake, family, as we stay awake, especially during this end of the year season, it's incumbent upon us to really begin to anchor our spiritual practice, to really begin to examine the thoughts that we're entertaining, to really begin to look at how our day is structured and how much of that time is just wasted away in the minutia of life, in the I'm just going to settle because I'm a victim to life and life happens to me. It's time for us to really wake up and really begin to set forth into action a new way of being, a new way of staying awake, a new way of staying conscious to that which is our life. So whether it's increasing our prayer time, our meditation time, our class time, or whether it's just sitting in the silence for a little bit, examining these thoughts and ideas that we have and replacing them with a new thought, replacing them with a thought that's actually going to set us on sure footing, unless we're going to really dedicate some time to really being the captains of our ships and to let life happen in, through, and as our life, we're really just asleep. We're really just asleep. Oh. And if that's okay with you, then that's okay with you. Because the beauty of this teaching is that we take that which we're receptive to. And if we're okay with what we're getting, then great. We get to just keep doing what we're doing. But if there's something that's calling you or nudging you, or if that 2x4 is hurting right about now because there's something that is like banging at your door for you to write the book, or for you to go out and start your business, or for you to really get out there and talk to people, or do whatever it is that your heart and that your passion is calling you forth to do, it's time. The time is now. As we're wrapping up 2013, it's time to begin to look at our passion. I was talking with a practitioner today. I was talking with Celeste, and she said, do you know that the root word of passion means to suffer? So the way that we really get to use this word from now on is that when we follow our passion, we suffer not. When we follow our passion, we suffer not. But when we don't follow our passion, we suffer. When we don't follow our passion, there's that nudge, there's that little nagging thing. It's like a low-grade fever that just won't go away. It's just like this pesky bug that just kind of, because there's something within us that just wants to be birthed and that just wants to come forth, that just wants to come through us, it just wants to be shared and expressed in the world. And unless we do so, unless we surrender to that within us that really wants us to stay awake, alert, and aware, and to really shine forth the truth of who we are, we suffer. And we're not free from discord. So now's the time. Now's the time to really just, and don't think, oh, I'm too old, I'm too short, I'm not good enough, I don't do this good enough, whatever. Forget that stuff. Go for it. Do it. Show up. Be there. Go to the place. Show yourself. Reach your hand out. Write the book. Do it. Trust that since there's one life, one power, one presence, and that power and presence is God, and that God created everything out of itself, therefore your life is the life of God, just by means of you showing up, you're going to get that or something better. That or something better is going to unfold and happen because you're following your passion, because you are following that nudge, that you're staying awake, you're staying aware, you're reminding yourself of the truth that right where I am, God is. Therefore, everything is unfolding in a perfect and divine way. And anytime any of those thoughts to the contrary start coming through, it's kind of like this little hypnosis kind of thing. It's trying to put you to sleep. Be like, I'm not going to sleep right now. Nope. That's not the truth of who I am. Sorry, you can't put me to sleep. Sorry, you can't hypnotize me. No, be gone, thought. What I know is that right where I am, God is. The love and the law of God is omnipresent. And I'm ready to take. I'm ready to take and stay awake. I'm ready to take. I'm receptive to the good. I'm receptive to the all that life has in, through, and as me. And I'm ready to show up, and I'm ready to express it. I'm ready to give of my gifts and my talents, and I'm ready to let the world see that God is living magnificently and beautifully as me. Period. Because that's the truth. That's the truth. And the moment that we fall asleep to that is when we forget. And we don't want to forget. We want to remember. We want to stay awake to this truth. We want to anchor it so deeply that it becomes such an integral part of who we are that without even recognizing it or knowing it, that's just how we live. That's just how we roll. That every day we get incidents like this. Oh yeah, this is how we do stuff, and it inevitably always works out for our good. It always does. It always does. The divine givingness of God, the divine givingness of Spirit makes it so. Life just wants to express, and it wants to express freely and beautifully as you. And the more you stay awake to that truth of who you are, the more you really have an opportunity to experience freedom from all discord. That moment that you take and you go, yes, this is mine. This is ours. This is for me. I receive this. I accept this. And from that place, now we can give freely of who we are. Whether you recognize it a little bit or whether you recognize it a whole lot, right where you are, the infinite intelligence, eternal presence, the beautiful, the magnificent, the harmonious, perfect, abundant life of God is living itself as you. Break the shackles of limitation and lack. Remember the truth of who you are. Stay awake. And it's funny because we're going to go into meditation now, and it might seem like we're going to fall asleep. But we're actually going to meditatively, is that a new word too? Stay awake and recognize the godness of who we are. So the invitation is to stay awake now, to clear your laps, to allow yourself to just surrender into the breath. And as you surrender to the breath and as the lights come down low, it's simply that outward symbol of shutting out the outside world and really recognizing and entering the kingdom of God which is within you. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, love is. Right where I am, peace is. Right where I am, there is abundance and eternal life. Right where I am, there is peace of mind. There is wholeness and harmony. There is peace in the body. Right where I am, there is prosperity and life that abounds itself in this beautiful and magnificent way. Right where I am, there is creativity. And as I know that this is my truth, I know that this is a truth for each and every one of us. So we simply anchor that truth right now, that which is true of God is true about me. Just say that to yourself over and over again, whether it's silently or in your whisper tone. Right where I am, God is. That which is true about God is true about me. For I am the way that God shows up on this planet. I am the beautiful and magnificent way that God is expressing itself. I am an unrepeatable expression of the beloved of the Most High. When you see me, you see God. You see one of the many, many ways that God is expressing itself in, through, and as each and every one of us. And as we gaze upon one another, and as we look and see the beauty that abounds, and as we look at one another, we're reminded that right where we are, God is, and this is the truth for each and every one of us. That God is just expressing itself in this multitude of ways. And that we get to honor and respect ourselves and each other. We get to stay awake to this truth. That even when the times get busy, that even when things get rough, that even when we have an experience that is unlike that which we want, we remind ourselves that right where I am, God is. The divine givingness of God. This is a gift, and I get to see that there's a hidden thought or belief. I expose it. I replace it with the truth. God is living in, through, and as me right now. So we sit. We sit in the silence and the stillness for about 2 minutes or so, and we just let this sink in. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is.